and welcome to my channel where we make gourmet tasting cakes using a box mix. And today we will be making a tangy orange walnut cake covered in orange cream cheese frosting. So stick around while we make something boxed, but better. The first thing we need to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. The next thing we need is 1 white box mix. Once we add our box mix, we will need 3 eggs. Next, we are adding a ½ cup of sour cream. To give our cake a delicious orange flavor, we are adding 1½ cups of orange juice. Our final ingredient is 1 teaspoon of orange extract. If you do not have orange extract on hand, you can also add a tablespoon of orange marmalade. Give it a good mix for about 2 minutes. You'll notice the batter is much thinner than our last recipe. This is what we want it to look like. Now that our batter is mixed, we are going to pour it into 3 8-inch cake pans. If you do not have 8-inch cake pans, you can also pour it into 2 9-inch cake pans. But I want my cake to have a really nice height to it. It has been 25 minutes and our cakes are done. There are 2 ways to check to make sure it is done. One is the poke test. Just gently poke, and if it springs back to your finger without leaving an indent, it is done. The other is the toothpick test. Insert a toothpick and pull it out, and if it comes out mostly clean, it is done. It is time to make our orange cream cheese icing. In a bowl, we are going to add 1 8-ounce block of room temperature cream cheese, 1 stick of room temperature unsalted butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a ½ teaspoon of orange extract. If you do not have orange extract, you can also supplement with a teaspoon of orange marmalade. Mix everything in the bowl until it is creamed smoothly together. Scrape down your sides as needed. When you are done creaming your ingredients together, you will add 1 pound of powdered sugar. It is best to sift it if the bag has already been opened, but if it is a fresh bag, you can dump it straight in. Now it is a good idea to give this a slight mix with your hand mixer or with a spatula, because when you turn this on, the sugar will definitely do a mushroom cloud effect. So incorporate it as well as you can by hand before mixing it with the electric mixer. Scrape down your bowl in between mixing as needed to make sure all of the icing becomes fully incorporated. You will need to mix for about 2 minutes. Now it is time to give our cake a delicious orange marmalade and walnut filling. Oh, I got it. I was afraid I was going to kind of scoop it home. Using a spoon, just scoop out a nice helping of orange marmalade, and using the back of your spoon, push it side to side until it smooths out. There's no specific measurement for this, it's just how much you want. You do not have to take this fully to the edges. Remember, once you put on your cake layers, it will help to squish out everything that's in the middle. So stop just a little before reaching the edge. Once you spread your first layer of orange marmalade, it is time to add the walnuts. I chopped up about 1 cup of walnuts. Once again, there is no specific measurement. You can add as much or as little as you would like, and just sprinkle it on. You can lightly push the walnuts down with your fingers to help anchor them into the marmalade. Once you have that done, you can add on your second layer and do the same process again. Position your final layer on top, and then we will straighten out these edges with our knife. Taking our bread knife, we are just going to lightly shave the edges off of the cake. This will make the cake more uniform and smooth when you ice it. You can skip this process, but when you ice it, you will see the bumps of the layers underneath. Only cut just a little at a time, because if you cut too far in, you will start getting more edges and we'll get a square cake or a hexagon sort of cake, and we want this to stay round. This is just part of the process to getting that beautiful professional looking cake. You can save these pieces to snack on later, or make them into delicious cake pops, or you can feed them to your hungry circus of children as they eyeball what you are doing. You will notice that the cake does slope down a little around the edges because of all the walnuts in the middle. You can add extra walnuts around the edges to prop it up, But honestly, I'm not that worried about it because once we get the border on the edge, it won't be very noticeable at all. It is now time for the crumb coat. Using your spatula, or if you don't have one, a butter knife, take a little bit of icing and smooth it across very thinly over your cake. Once again, the whole point of the crumb coat is to do just that, catch the crumbs. So it does not have to be thick. I am using a butter knife to show people that it can be done without having to go out and buy cake decorating tools. Once you finish the crumb coat, put it in the refrigerator for about 5 to 10 minutes to let the icing stiffen up a little. After letting the icing chill on your cake for a few minutes, it is now time to give it its final layer of icing. Remember to do the side-to-side wave to push the icing where you need it to go. I would like to also remind you to not be hard on yourself when it comes to the icing part. You'll get better the more you practice, and who doesn't love an excuse to eat more cake? Am I right? One tip is to put your icing on the top, push it all the way to the edges until it starts to fall, and then use that to ice your sides. Cream cheese icing is much softer than buttercream and can be a little bit tricky to work with. On the top, make that final lap around, and this does not have to be perfect because we will actually be topping it with an orange marmalade. Once you are done icing it, we are going to put it in the refrigerator for another 10 to 20 minutes until the icing firms up. Like I said, this is cream cheese icing and it is just much softer to work with, so we are going to want a more firm template to ice on. To make the icing you are going to decorate with more manageable, scrape the leftovers to the bottom of the bowl, cover with plastic wrap, and refrigerate for about 10 minutes while you are letting your cake chill. Now that we've let our cake chill for about 20 minutes, you will notice that if you touch it with your finger, it is not going to come off to the touch. That is exactly what we want it to do. You can decorate this cake however you would like. My choice of decoration is to actually add a pool of orange marmalade on top. This gives it a beautiful pop of color as well as extra orange flavor. I absolutely love the beautiful look of the orange peels in the marmalade. You do not want to push this all the way to the edge because we are going to save room for the border. Now for the border, I'm going to use a piping bag and a star tip. I am using a tip number 842. Now I did say that the whole point of this channel is so people can decorate cakes without needing to buy extra tools. So if you do not have this on hand and don't wish to spend the extra money, you don't have to. You can just cut a hole in the bag and decorate it using the same technique but without a tip. Pull the bag down over your fingers so that you create a nice little pocket for your icing to go in. Once you do that, you can take your icing that we have refrigerated and pack it into the bag. Notice how much stiffer the icing has become once it's chilled. This will make it much easier to work with. Hold the bag in between your thumb and your 4 fingers. The 4 fingers will do all of the squeezing. Holding your tip just slightly above the cake, you are going to squeeze until it comes out. Let it form a little pile, and then slowly as you are squeezing, go around in a circle, stop squeezing, and pull away. This is what we call a rosette. It's a beautiful and simple design. Like I said, you can do this without a tip. It would just be a texture-free swirl. Go around your cake, and you'll notice that you are containing your border as you do this. Beautiful. Next, we will add some walnuts to the bottom. Using the remainder of your chopped walnuts, put some into your hand and push them into the bottom edge of your cake. This will give it a delightful border as well as some extra delicious walnuts, and is very fast and simple while still looking amazing. You can go as low down or as far up on your cake as you want with walnuts. Another idea is to just go completely up the side and cover the whole cake with walnuts. It's really up to you and how nutty you would like your cake to be. There are many ways you can decorate your cake. You could do orange slices, kumquats, anything you want really. I, however, have decided to just go with some walnut halves. I like the way it incorporates the brown of the walnut into the top of the cake. Beautiful. And there you have it, our delicious orange walnut cake. Thank you for joining me today. I had a lot of fun, and I hope you did too. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments section, and I will see you next time on Boxed But Better with Genna. You can actually lightly push the almonds, really? These are walnuts. And there you have it, our delicious orange almond cake. These are walnuts!